In the latest 2 Family Guy episodes, Lois punches a shark, Peter gets a jetpack, and Stewie becomes a frat bro. And I'm gonna go through all the things that worked and all the things that really didn't. So far, this Family Guy season has been incredibly mediocre. I mean, the last episode I reviewed happened to be one of the most boring ones I've ever seen, so let's just say that my expectations were completely on the floor. But thankfully, I'm so relieved to say that episode 4's Old World Harm was a massive improvement. The episode starts with Peter seeing someone use a jetpack on TV, so he decides that he wants one too. Therefore, he straps some fireworks to his waist, leaf blowers on his back, and holds onto 2 falcons. And naturally, it all goes pear-shaped. He smashes through the house, straight into the sky, where he mistakes a Japanese spy balloon for a Chinese balloon.
Please excuse my ignorance.
Hey, just take this opportunity to learn and grow.
I will.
And that was pretty funny, just a few minutes in and there's already quite a lot of good laughs here. Like when Peter imagines using a jetpack at the doctor's.
All right, so you're 7'6", 180 with colorectal cancer. I'm tall?
And this line got me good too.
For some reason, women don't like it when you wreck their financial future.
They're not exactly the smartest jokes I've ever heard, but they're dumb jokes that Family Guy does best. Anyway, with his house mostly destroyed, Joe offers his mom's condo in Florida while the repairs are being done. And at first, Lois is stoked to go on a holiday, until she finds out that they are staying in a retirement home. But she soon changes her mind when she realizes that she's the most desirable woman in town. Even eating an apple is impressive to these old-timers. And it's not only Lois, Peter is loving the attention too.
Oh, such a strong boy.
Also, I love that scene where he's smacking an old lady like a piñata to get some candy. We then get the reveal that the old folks are planning to harvest the couple's organs, and it's a twist that I definitely didn't see coming. Lois stumbles across their plan and saves Peter just before he's about to be cut up, and as they make their escape out of the retirement home, they have to pause to guide an old man into a parallel parking spot.
You gotta cut the wheel.
I am cutting the wheel.
Again, another funny moment. But just when they're about to reach the gate, they are cornered by all of the retirees who say that they will never stop hunting them. Until it struck 4:04 PM, that is.
We will stand here and fight until...
It's 4:04.
Oh, we're missing dinner.
Now, that was just a very quick summary of the A-plot, but I must say that there were so many decent jokes I glossed over. We then get another reveal, which is that Joe was the one who orchestrated the entire thing just so he'd have Peter's legs. But when his plan fails, he gets Cleveland to go to the retirement home instead, and just when you think it's all over, we then cut to sad, legless Cleveland and Joe with his brand new sexy legs. I just burst out laughing when I saw this, and it was a great way to finish off an already funny episode. And as for the B-plot of the episode, it revolves all around Stewie overcoming his fear of taking his first shower. And one of my favourite running gags in the show is how Rupert and Stewie are in some kind of relationship and are constantly bickering.
Is this because I suggested a prenup? Well, if money doesn't matter, you should just sign it.
It's just so stupid yet so funny every time, and I'm seriously considering making a Stewie and Rupert video, so let me know in the comments if that interests you. Anyway, Brian, who has a traumatic memory of taking a shower as a puppy, joined Stewie in order to get over this trauma. And while it definitely wasn't as great as the A-plot, it was still pretty good, and I always like to be reminded that Stewie is a baby, so having a shower is a big deal, despite the fact that he's a super evil genius. And the way the two of them escape the shower by using Meg's drain hair is so gross, yet quite imaginative. So you know what, when I was considering rating this episode, I was gonna go with 4.5 stars, but you know what, I'm gonna round it up to 5 stars. And it won't go down as one of the greatest episodes ever, mind you, but still, it delivered exactly what I wanted from a Family Guy episode, and that is a lot of jokes. So does the next episode keep this momentum going? Well, short answer, no. No, it doesn't. The 5th episode of the season is titled Baby It's Cold Outside, and it literally opens with Peter asking how to empty his sex doll.
Anybody know how to empty the reservoir on a real doll?
Anyway, Peter totally forgets his wedding anniversary and so lies by saying he'll have an awesome surprise for her later. And at the clan, Peter has absolutely no idea what to do, but it's Seamus of all people who gives Peter the idea of taking Lois out on a romantic boat ride. By the way, I do love that running gag of Seamus always trying desperately hard to be a part of the friendship group. Oh, bless him. Anyway, Peter takes Seamus's advice and Lois absolutely loves it. In fact, she likes it so much that she starts stripping and goes skinny dipping. Peter joins in and his splash causes such a tidal wave that it causes a big cruise ship to sink. And things are going great until Lois sees a dorsal fin charging towards her. And what does Peter do? He pushes her underwater and flees in the boat, abandoning her. But luckily for Lois, it just turns out to be a dolphin who carries her back to the beach. This pisses her off so much that she tells him that she'll never trust him again.
I just don't think I'll ever be able to see you as a man, my protector, or a real husband again.
So, desperate to win her trust back, he and the boys come up with a harebrained scheme. This involves leading her back into the water and saving her from a pretend shark played by Quagmire. This majorly backfires when Peter fell into the water and an actual real shark charges towards him. But instead of abandoning him, Lois jumps in to fight the shark. This courageous act makes Lois realise that she doesn't need a protector because she's her own alpha.
I do have an alpha in my life. Someone to stand up and take charge, and it's me!
And so it ends with them making love on the beach while the guys watch them. This segment didn't produce as many laughs as I thought it would. The cutaway of the nickels wasn't particularly funny, and then there was a literal cameo from someone called Chris Daltrey, who I'd never really heard of, but maybe that's just because I'm English. Wikipedia told me that he was from American Idol, but either way, I just don't think it was that funny. It was also just another episode of Lois and Peter arguing, and I'm so over that. I've spoken about this before, but the writers really keep overdoing it. So let's now talk about the B-plot, which sees Stewie find a mini fridge for his room. This causes him to act like a frat boy because, well, I guess all frat boys have mini fridges in their room, or something. He starts partying and even gets a roommate from Quebec, and quite a few of the jokes involve this roommate, and none of them, to be honest, really land. This segment ends with Stewie leaving the fridge door open, which causes his entire room to get so cold that it freezes everything inside of it, including Stewie. And then there's a final shining zoom in on an old photograph of Stewie at a party from 1923, and the Shining reference was very, very random and very out of place, but again, that's nothing new with Family Guy references. It's just that South Park had already done the exact same thing before with Randy, except that time it was 100 times funnier because they actually built up to it. But this time, Family Guy just seemed to be referencing for the sake of having a movie reference, and it was very, very, very lazy. I did find the B-plot to be the weakest, which isn't saying much. It just didn't produce any laughs at all. Even the Danny DeVito bit wasn't funny at all, and I love Danny DeVito. The SNL skit wasn't great, and neither was the Michael Douglas cutaway. In all honesty, I kept finding myself checking out while watching it, so I had to keep refocusing on the screen every single time, which is never a great thing when you're watching a TV show. It wasn't that it was god-awful, it just wasn't very good at all. So for that, I'm giving it 2 stars out of 5. So here are my star ratings that I've given for this season so far, and as you can see, they are a bit all over the place. So fingers crossed it gets back on track by the next episode, but I'm not gonna hold my breath. But before we end, I want to say that I've got some really exciting news. So for the first time ever, I can now show the inside of my upcoming book, Collecting the Simpsons, the merchandise and legacy of our favourite nuclear family. I co-wrote this with my husband James as well as Warren from the Simpsons is Greater Than podcast, and we go into the full detail of the Simpsons toys, the video games, the music, the comics, the home media, and the clothes from the 90s up until today. There's also pages dedicated to the iconic fast food toys and even Simpsons food in general. It's over 300 pages long and is full of gorgeous photographs taken by the fantastic artist Caroline Walker Evans. And one of my favourite personal chapters I wrote is all about the real Simpsons house, which was an actual house they built for a giveaway, and it looked exactly like 742 Evergreen Terrace. But the most interesting thing about it is the history behind it and why it got built, and also how it relates back to the Simpsons merchandise. I also dive a bit deeper into the creation and the development of the Simpsons land at Universal Studios, and this chapter is chock full of photographs all taken and edited by myself. This book is released on the 5th of December if you live in the USA. But you know what? Pre-ordering this book really does help massively, and it ensures that you get yours on the day of release. And so we've come to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know your thoughts about these 2 episodes down in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.